Even before moving to California, I always thought that I knew enough about the country and about the state. After all, the Philippines is very westernized or Hollywoodized. So I thought I wasn't really going to have a hard time, but I was wrong. There was just so many things I didn't know, things that I wished somebody told me because that would have given me an easier time adjusting. So if you are planning to move here, here are 10 things that I think will help you to know. Getting a job is easy. Having a career is an altogether different story. The cliche is true. You can practically walk in downtown, and within a week, you're probably going to have 2 to 3 job offers. There's always a caregiving company looking for caregivers, or a company looking for clerks or receptionists. If that's what you want to do, if what you want is to just make money, there's nothing wrong with that. You will probably have 2 jobs in no time. But rarely anybody comes here wanting to become a server or a receptionist or a clerk. People come here and they want to become a nurse or a marketing professional or a celebrity, whatever it is. And that is the difficult part. The reason is connected to number 2. Unless you have a technical skill, none of what you did back home matters here. From their point of view, even if it is an international company that you work for back home, unless that company or that branch that you're working for is located here in the US, you do not have a work experience. You're going to have to start at the bottom, and that means getting minimum wage. And then you're going to have to wait a year or 2 to get a dollar increase. Number 3, your nursing degree back home is not going to get you a green card anymore, not here in California. Let me explain this a bit, and you definitely need to consult a lawyer based here in California before you do anything. But briefly, several years ago, California has started prioritizing nursing graduates here over nursing graduates abroad. So if you're a nursing graduate back home from other countries and then you take the board here and you pass, sure, you're licensed here. But it does not mean that you will be able to find an employer that will petition you and get you a work permit or get you a green card. Because as I've said, they have prioritized those that are graduates here in the US over those that have graduated in other countries. You have better chances in getting employment elsewhere, not in California, but out of California. Number 4, you need 2 jobs. It's very common here for people to have 2 jobs. Of course, you can survive with one, that's fine, but that is the key. One job is survival if you're new here. Again, there's always an exception. You can always get a job that's going to pay you $100,000, and you're going to live a happy life, and that's fine. But most commonly, you are probably going to get a job that pays you a minimum wage. And those companies also don't usually provide health insurance or medical insurance and retirement plans. And so you can forego all of that. Just to note that health here is very expensive. So a single doctor's visit can cost you $500, just like that. So imagine if it is something worse. I could have taken that route. I could have forgone medical insurance. I could have forgone doing retirement plans or pension plans, I think is what it's called in other countries. I could choose not to save money and just survive. But I did not want that. I'm a pretty healthy person, but I certainly do not want to encounter an emergency and burden other people. I don't want to, ask help from other people. So I decided to get a medical insurance, and I also decided I wanted to start saving for my future. So I decided to get an IRA, that is the pension plan or retirement plan here. So all of that added to my cost. Yes, I could have easily just availed of public health. So here you can actually go to hospital and get discharged, and you're not gonna pay a dime. That's just how it is. They cannot say no to you if you go there. But also keep in mind that according to the Trump administration, if you're availing the health benefits by the government and then you're applying for a green card, that's probably going to affect your application, and I didn't want to take the risk. Number 5, you need to invest in yourself. One of the biggest mistakes you can ever make, especially when you're young and you're starting out here, is to not plan ahead. A lot of people are just concerned about survival. They just want to earn as much as they can and then send as much money as they want or can back home, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you can sacrifice a lot of things in favor of surviving. but you need to think about what all of those are taking away from you. For example, you can always rent a room outside of the city, and that's going to cut your rent by more than half, and that's a significant amount. But for me, at least for me, that will hinder my ability to pursue other opportunities. I mean, sure, I could be saving $500 in rent, but then living outside the city would not allow me to have a second job that will probably pay me what, $2,500 a month more? So is that worth it? Another thing that contributed to my expenses when I was beginning was the retirement plan and the health insurance. Sure, you don't have to. It is not a requirement to have a retirement plan, but I want to have that security of knowing that if something happens to me, I am going to be taken care of, and that my family is going to be taken care of. And I wanted to start early because I don't want to be 70 or 80 and still working my ass off. No, I want to retire early and just enjoy my life. And if I want to do that, then I need to start saving up for my future early. I had to plan ahead. I couldn't wing it. I mean, I could wing it, but I did not want to just wing it. I didn't want to just survive. I didn't leave my entire family and friends and career back home so that I could wing it here. If all I wanted to do was survive, I could have done it in the arms of the people that I love and who love me in return. So no, that wasn't the way for me. If I am going to stay here and sacrifice all of that, I would give it a good try. And so I decided I was going to live in the city, and I would pursue as many opportunities that I want. I would develop new skills, or I would improve the ones that I have. And it's paying off. It's paying off now. Medical insurance is another thing. As I've said, it's very expensive here, but not having one is probably even going to be 100 times more expensive if ever I do need care. And so I just didn't want to be a burden to anybody. I wanted to have that security of knowing that if something happens to me, I can just go to a hospital and I will be taken care of. I have friends who opted not to do any of those things, not to do a retirement plan, not to do a savings plan, not to pursue or develop new skills, and that's fine. They're doing just fine. But that's not just what is for me. I just wanted to have a lot more opportunities. I wanted more doors to open for me. And I think everybody who starts here, especially if you're young, you should think about that. Sacrifice now, and it's going to pay off in the future. Number 6, you need a car. Well, you don't need a car actually. There is public transportation. There are trains and buses, but it's not as efficient as it is in Chicago and New York. A 30-minute drive can actually become a 2-hour commute if you're lucky. If you're not, then it's probably going to be 3 hours. And so again, for me, that limits my ability to pursue opportunities. In the first 2 years, I actually didn't have a car. I opted to commute just because I didn't have the budget to buy a new car. I just got by public transportation, trains and buses. But then as I pursued more opportunities and bigger opportunities, as I started getting into more projects, as I started meeting more and more people, networking, I just needed a car. This is just a car city. I don't know, or a car state. I mean, it's not bad if you can. I came from the Philippines. So if you compare public transportation in the Philippines to here, this is more like public transportation going to heaven. That's how it feels like. So it's still not bad. But again, it was just the travel time. It was taking away from my chance to pursue other opportunities and to actually do other jobs. Number 7, California is not like any other state. So if you have friends in New York or Alabama or Florida, it's just California is a different animal. Everything is harder. Bar exams, board exams, jobs, people. It's just harder, more expensive, it's bigger. So you're just gonna have to come here and learn the sensibilities of the language, of the culture, of the way of life here. Number 8, everyone is just so busy. You have to remember that things work efficiently and very precisely here. So even when you're doing, for example, if you're taking public transportation, you don't have a car, you at least still have an idea on how long it's going to take you from traveling from one place to another. And so you're able to plan your schedule better. And so because of that, then you're able to fill up your schedule, faster, and people can't just be available. You can't just text people and expect that everyone's going to be available anytime. You just need to schedule things. Even with your closest friends, if you want to see them, you need to schedule things. Number 9, California is not very fond of vacations. People come here to go on a vacation. People don't go out of California to have a vacation. If you search federal holidays, there are 10 holidays that are going to pop up. But in California, we're only observing 7. And coming from a country with 27 holidays, and excluding those special holidays that they just declare for no reason at all, having 7 is just rude. Number 10, you need help. You do need help. It doesn't matter if you were petitioned by your company to come here. It doesn't matter if you've researched and you've financially prepared before you come here. You still need help. You're going to need people that will show you the ropes, that will tell you, hey, that's not how it is in this country. Even if that's how you do things back home, it's just different here. There will always be somebody that will be willing to help you. So just when you do get established, pay it forward. The evolving law is making things difficult for people to get a green card here. It's not impossible, but it's just very difficult. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you any advice on how to do things. So all these 10 things are just the practical things that I've learned that I think is going to help you. All that said, it is not impossible. It is not impossible to build a life here. Just be ready for the sacrifices that you're going to make. Good luck.